Hey guys, Jen Anderson here. I'm going to show you how I set up my bullet journal for daily journaling and scripture study stuff. So these pens right here, just some pens that I like to use. And what I typically do is I will use the same color pen to set up the bullet journal for the week. So what I do is I use this bright colored pen to set up the outline, and then later I'll go back and I'll use a just a regular ballpoint pen to fill in this stuff. So let me show you what I've got going on here. So if you look at right here, just at the top of the day, so today is March 14th. So I just put Thursday, March 14th, and I use the fatter end. So on these pens, there's like a fat end. I'll show you. You can see how there's that tip right there is fatter compared to this one right here that's small. So the small tip is what I use for these other things here. And so anyhow, but for this whole week, I'm using this green color, and then next week I'll switch to something like purple or whatever. And so let me show you what I have here. So what I do is every day I have one main focus for the day. So I put on here number one focus -biz, and then I also have personal right here. So I will write down just a couple of words right here. So I don't have to, for myself, I don't have to write out like a whole bunch of stuff. You may want to do that. You might want to leave more space. But for me, I just want to have just a very quick, at the top of my journal, what is the key thing that I'm focusing on today? And then the EODR stands for end of day reflection. So at the end of the day, I will, as I'm kneeling down to say my prayers at the end of the day, I will write down, okay, how did I do with accomplishing this number one business goal and this number one personal thing? So I'll write stuff down, just like how I saw it show up, or if it didn't show, like if I didn't actually get it done or whatever, like I will put that stuff there. And then the next thing I have is inspiration during prayer. So I put a little sunshine for my morning prayer and a little moon for my nighttime prayer. And so when I'm praying, I get inspiration about different things, I will stop and I will write things down. I don't know if it's just my brain is too busy or what's going on, but I find that by the time I get to my end of my prayer, I can't even remember the things that God just inspired me to do. So to me, I have just learned to break my prayer for a second, write it down, and then just continue praying. Because when I pray, I typically tend to pray on my knees with my eyes closed. And so it's not like I'm praying sitting there with my eyes open and like pondering. It's like, more of that closed eye type prayer. So then that's why I open up my eyes. That's what I mean by breaking a prayer. And then I jot this stuff down. And I leave myself a few lines here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines here for each of them. And on the morning prayer, I just fill in this area. And in the evening prayer, I fill in that part right there. And then the next part I have on here is my scripture insights and journaling. And so more often than not, when I'm reading my scriptures, I'm doing a deep dive on one particular chapter or maybe a few verses of scripture as opposed to a whole chapter. So I will just write down right here what scripture. So for example, if it's Matthew 5, I'll put Matthew 5. And then as I'm reading it, stuff like the insights that come, I will write that here. So sometimes the insights is just like a line or two, maybe it's a sentence, or maybe it's a little bit more, but usually it ends up just being a little bit. But then I also in journaling about what that scripture means to me. So that's what I mean by scripture insights and journaling. So that's where I will write down, what does that scripture mean for me? And then the angel requests. So I'm very big on engaging our angels to help us. So I will write down what's my number one request that they help me out with for the day. And then at the end of the day, I write down the evidence of where I saw that show up. And so that's something for myself to keep it there. And then I also put down what I'm grateful for. And I start off, with every day I focus on 5 things that I'm grateful for. So sometimes it could be something like, I'm grateful for my car that safely and comfortably drives me and my family around, right? So it doesn't have to be like some big major deal, like I landed a new big project or something like that in my business. It doesn't have to always be something big. It can be even just the small things, but I write that down. So I start out with I'm grateful for here. And then down here, I would write down, like that example I just said, I would say our van because, and then I'll write out on the next line and a half why I am grateful for the van. So instead of every single time writing out, I am grateful for, and like, instead of doing that and wasting the space, I just write it out here at the top and then put this. And then that way I have all of that here ready to go, and it's on the page. If you're somebody who likes to write out a ton more about your gratitude, maybe you do that on the second page and you fill it out over here. I'm actually going to do another video that shows a 2-page spread as well, but this is my standard. This is what I do most of the time for my layout in my bullet journal for the day. And then that way I've got some stuff that I'm focusing on. And then by the end of the day, I can come back. So I can use this throughout the day. Mostly I use it in the morning and then again in the evening. So morning stuff and then in the evening. Morning and evening. I fill this out in the morning. I do my angel requests in the morning. I do my gratitudes in the morning. But sometimes my day is too nuts. First thing in the morning, I might have something going on that I can't really get to my scripture study in the morning. So I might do something like indicate what my number one business and personal goal is in the morning. And then I'll do my prayers, and then I'll write down what my inspiration is, but I'll come back and fill out my scripture study, my angel requests, like whatever later on. But for the most part, this is what I'm doing in my morning spiritual routine as I'm filling out this information here. All right, guys, so I hope that was helpful for you in the comments. Let me know what you think about this and share other thoughts, experiences that you have as well for yourself. And what you're doing in your bullet journal for your scripture study. All right, you guys, take care, and remember always that God has a message for you. See you later.